The strongest men are rarely the loudest. They do not announce themselves, explain themselves, or defend their every thought. They understand something most people learn too late: words are a form of exposure. Every sentence reveals intention, weakness, or need. If this understanding resonates with you, remain here. Subscribe, and keep this path within reach, because silence like this does not follow those who drift. Long before modern life rewarded constant expression, the Japanese understood the power of restraint. The samurai did not speak to fill space. They spoke only when speech served purpose. Miyamoto Musashi wrote that unnecessary movement wastes energy, and unnecessary words do the same. Silence was not absence. It was discipline made audible by its lack. Chapter 1: The Weight of Words. Kenji worked in an environment where everyone spoke constantly. Meetings stretched long, opinions overlapped, and explanations were offered before understanding was earned. He spoke often, not because he had much to say, but because silence felt like absence. He believed that being heard was the same as being respected. Yet he noticed something unsettling. The people who spoke the most were rarely the ones others relied on. Decisions were made elsewhere, quietly, without explanation. Authority seemed to gather around those who said little but observed much. Kenji did not understand why, but he felt the imbalance. Zen philosophy teaches that the mind reveals itself through speech. Excessive talking often signals internal unrest. The samurai were trained to watch this in themselves. Kenji had never considered that his words might be revealing more than his competence. Chapter 2: Musashi and the Discipline of Silence. Miyamoto Musashi was not known for speeches. He was known for outcomes. His writings are sparse, direct, and often uncomfortable. He warned that explaining oneself too often was a sign of attachment to perception. In Bushido, speech was governed by necessity. A warrior who spoke carelessly revealed emotional instability. Silence, by contrast, created uncertainty in others and clarity in oneself. Musashi believed that words should arrive late, not early. Kenji began to notice how often he spoke to relieve tension rather than to convey truth. He filled gaps with commentary, softened statements with justification, and diluted decisions with explanation. None of this made him clearer. It made him smaller. Chapter 3: Why Silence Feels Threatening. Silence is uncomfortable because it removes defense. When you stop speaking, you lose the ability to steer perception. Zen masters taught that this discomfort is a mirror. It reflects dependency on approval. Kenji felt this directly. In meetings, when he withheld comment, anxiety rose. His mind raced with imagined judgments. He felt invisible, then exposed. Speaking restored comfort, but weakened presence. The samurai trained to endure this discomfort deliberately. They understood that calm authority is built by surviving silence without needing to escape it. Presence grows where explanation ends. Chapter 4: The Loud and the Capable. Kenji began observing more carefully. The most reliable man in his department spoke rarely. When he did, his words were brief and precise. He never explained his reasoning unless asked, and he was rarely asked twice. This man was not cold. He was composed. His silence was not withdrawal, but readiness. Others adjusted themselves around him. Musashi wrote that when the opponent reveals himself, you gain advantage. Excessive speech reveals position. Silence conceals it. Kenji began to understand that words are not neutral. They shift power. Chapter 5: The Inner Noise. Reducing speech did not immediately bring calm. At first, it amplified inner noise. Thoughts crowded forward, demanding expression. Kenji realized how much he used speech to avoid listening to himself. Zen practice emphasizes sitting with internal movement without acting on it. The samurai did the same in training. Stillness was a test. Kenji had been failing it without knowing. He committed to a simple rule. Speak only when the words improve the situation. This was not a vow of silence, but a filter. The difficulty of this rule exposed how often he spoke without purpose. Chapter 6: Identity and Elimination. Silence required a shift in identity. Kenji had seen himself as articulate, responsive, agreeable. These traits depended on speech. Removing excess words felt like losing part of himself. Bushido demanded elimination before addition. The warrior stripped away weakness before developing strength. Kenji began stripping away verbal habits. Apologies without fault. explanations without request, opinions without stake. Each removal felt uncomfortable, then stabilizing. He noticed that when he spoke less, his words carried more weight. This was not manipulation. It was alignment. Chapter 7. The Modern Test. A moment came that tested this discipline. Kenji was challenged publicly over a decision. In the past, he would have defended himself immediately. This time, he paused. The silence stretched. It felt dangerous. Then he responded with a single sentence. Clear. Final. No defense, no emotion. The reaction surprised him. The challenge dissolved. Authority did not come from dominance, but from restraint. Musashi wrote that victory often comes from stillness while others rush. Chapter 8. Silence as Presence. Kenji noticed changes beyond work. Conversations became shorter but deeper. People listened more carefully. He listened more carefully. Zen teaches that true listening requires silence. Not waiting to speak, but receiving. Kenji realized how rarely he had done this before. The strongest men he now noticed were not mute. They were selective. Their silence was not emptiness, but readiness. Chapter 9. Systems of Speech. Kenji refined his approach. He adopted non-negotiables. Never speak to fill space. Never explain without request. Never respond immediately when emotion is present. These systems were not rigid. They were grounding. The samurai used similar rules to preserve clarity under pressure. Structure protected freedom. Speech became intentional. Silence became normal. Internal tension decreased. Chapter 10. The Fear of Being Forgotten. One fear lingered. That silence would make him irrelevant. That without expression, he would disappear. Zen addresses this directly. The self that fears disappearance is already unstable. The samurai accepted impermanence. They did not seek recognition. They sought readiness. Kenji saw that silence did not erase him. It defined him. He was no longer reacting to the moment. He was shaping it. Chapter 11. Strength without display. The strongest men do not display strength. They conserve it. Speech is expenditure. Silence is preservation. Musashi warned against showing full capability. What is revealed can be counted. Kenji stopped revealing everything. Not from secrecy, but from discipline. His inner life grew quieter. Decisions came faster. Words arrived later. Chapter 12. The Cost of Speaking Less. There were costs. Some mistook silence for distance. Others projected their own meanings onto it. Kenji accepted this. The samurai accepted misunderstanding as the price of integrity. Explanation invites negotiation. Silence sets boundaries. Kenji learned that being understood by everyone is incompatible with being strong. Chapter 13. Silence under pressure. The greatest test came during crisis. While others spoke urgently, Kenji slowed. He observed. He waited. When he spoke, direction emerged. Calm replaced noise. Zen calls this centered action. Action without agitation. Kenji realized that silence was not passive. It was preparation. Chapter 14. The Inner Shift. Over time, the need to speak diminished. Kenji no longer rehearsed conversations in his mind. He no longer needed to justify himself internally. The strongest change was internal. Silence moved from behavior to identity. He no longer felt deprived. He felt grounded. Musashi wrote that the ultimate aim is freedom from dependency. Kenji had become less dependent on expression. Chapter 15. Why the strongest men speak less. They speak less because they listen more. Because they observe before acting. Because they do not leak energy through explanation. Silence protects clarity. It filters intention. It sharpens presence. The samurai understood this. Zen preserved it. Kenji lived it. Conclusion. In a world that rewards noise, silence becomes strength. Not the silence of withdrawal, but of discipline. Not absence, but control. The strongest men speak less because they have nothing to prove and everything to protect. Their words arrive late, but they arrive true. If this way of thinking resonates with you, do not leave it to chance. Paths like this do not remain visible to those who drift. Subscribe and remain within this discipline, or accept that silence like this may not find you again.